Hi, this is Dave Lorenzo with RainmakerLawyer.com, and today's conversation is about 5 ways for you to get introduced to a potential client. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, why do I need 5 ways to get introduced to a potential client? Why can't I market to them directly? And in most cases, you absolutely can. But in some states, like for example in Florida where I work, where my office is, you cannot directly solicit a client, or you can only directly solicit clients under very specific circumstances. So introductions are always the best way for you to come across someone that is a good candidate or that may possibly be a good candidate for your services. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about 5 specific ways for you to be introduced to a potential client. The first way is through what I call your natural network, and that's people who you know and people who know you, and even more importantly, people who know what you know. That is, people who know exactly what you do for a living, people who know how good you are. Each of us is a little bit famous to probably about 250 people, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. What you want to do is when you have someone in mind that you'd like to meet, whether that's for corporate work or someone who you think may be the ideal profile, you want to let your natural network know exactly who that person is or what profile they fit into. The reason for this is because they are not going to be able to introduce you or to introduce your services to someone unless they specifically know who you're looking for. So the first place you want to go is you want to go to your natural network and you want to say to them, this is my ideal client, either by name, a specific person, or with a description of a profile of a specific person. Second place you want to go, second place that's a good idea to go, is your Alumni Association. So your law school Alumni Association, your undergraduate Alumni Association. Even if you're not completely and totally ingrained in that organization any longer, if you're not really active, as long as you're a member and you can access that directory, perhaps you can find someone who works at the same company as your ideal client, or who fits the profile of a company, or who works at a company that fits the profile of who your ideal client may be, or who lives in a geographic area that may source your ideal client. The key is to use that network, people who you already know or who you've come in contact with or who you're not necessarily meeting for the first time. Use that network to reach out to folks who may be 1 or 2 or 3 or even 5 or 6 degrees of separation away from the person you'd like to meet. The third group is local civic organizations, and it's fantastic to get involved in at least one local organization like Rotary or Kiwanis, or perhaps it's your Chamber of Commerce, or perhaps it's some other group that meets for the purposes of businesses being introduced to and in proximity with other businesses. Local civic organizations are fantastic for leveraging people who you know to make introductions for you to your ideal client. The fourth group are local charities. Now, it's always fantastic to give back, and giving back to the community in and of itself is a reward. It's a huge reward. It provides an intrinsic reward to you as a person who wants to do good to in a community that's been good to you. But charities are also a fantastic place to meet and network with other people. If you work your way through your charitable organization's roster, either the leadership roster or the membership roster, you can often find people who may be 1 or 2 degrees removed from someone who could be your ideal client. Use that network, as long as you're comfortable doing so, to make introductions to you to ideal clients. Don't directly solicit business. I'm not encouraging you to directly solicit business from a charitable organization. Probably not a good move. Use the network to make introductions to people who may be good clients for you down the road. The fifth and final way is to attend meetings from other organizations that you know of, from people who have causes that are relevant to the person you're trying to meet. So, for example, you want to meet the president and CEO of XYZ company, and you know that the president of XYZ company is specifically involved with a local cause. Say, for example, Big Brothers Big Sisters. It behooves you to attend an orientation meeting with that charity, with Big Brothers Big Sisters, to see what the charitable organization is like, and 1, to see if you can work in that organization or do some good for that organization. But 2, attending that meeting puts you in proximity with other people who know the individual, and it may even make an introduction to the individual in and of itself. Now, don't do this just to use the organization as a shill to meet that person. You have to believe in the cause if you're going to join the organization and be active in it. But it is a great way to network with people who are important in the community, and also network with people who may be your future clients. So if you want to reach out to that person and you want to use this strategy, make sure your charitable interests or your civic interests are aligned with that person, and then find what organizations are important to them, and perhaps join that organization so that you can be in proximity with that individual. These are 5 ways for you to get introduced to a potential client. These are 5 ways you can become relevant to that person and make yourself stand out from the crowd. Now, keep in mind, you still have to work to establish a relationship with this person. You can't just go up and directly solicit them, but using these 5 ways will help you get closer to that person in the long run. My name is Dave Lorenzo, and if you'd like more great tips just like these, visit me at rainmakerlawyer.com. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic day.